Alan, my friend. I know my stream just went down. We got everything rebooted. What do you got for me, brother? Hit me.
Well, I just got off the phone with the lead editor from investorplace. They like what I've given them so far. They absolutely believe in what I'm doing. They want to run with the story. They are going to wait until I get my lawsuit filed to break it because they want to be able to pull the lawsuit up and literally put it in the story. They have gone over all the documents. The only thing that they asked for at this point was copies of the recording, which I'm having a really hard time getting into the Google Drive. So I'm going to have my son help me do that tonight.
Okay.
Kind of not the greatest with technology.
Okay.
And so I will share the full recordings with them. They're not going to use them other than just so that they can stand next to me and say, we've heard the recordings. There's no question. And so they wanted that so that they could absolutely stand behind me. And I think it's going to be a very good thing for our community when they release this article with the way they're writing it. I think it's going to just, unfortunately, I think it's going to do significant damage to my brokerage, but they made this bet they're going to lie in it. I gave them every opportunity to handle this. They chose not to. And now it's going to come out what they did to us.
And are you at liberty? Are you at liberty to disclose what brokerage, or not at liberty?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any qualms at this point.
What do we got?
TD Ameritrade, and what they did essentially, and this is my opinion on what I'm going to call this, but what's not my opinion is that on November 9th, I initiated a ACATS transfer to AST through their brokerage on the advice of the AST supervisor that had been there for 25 years. I did a three-way phone call with them and TD Ameritrade. TD Ameritrade had no idea I was putting them on the phone with AST.
Okay.
And so I kind of caught them off guard.
Okay.
Did not give them anything other than to follow the rules, which they did, and I got my shares transferred.
Okay.
I then bought more shares, and I wanted to, because I thought, you know what, this is a good stock that I wanted to be in. That's great, but I saw a lot of value in the squeeze play, and I was just, hey, this is a great opportunity for me. I don't want to miss out on this, so I bought a whole bunch more, and that's not financial advice for anybody. I tried to get in on the squeeze play, and as we saw, the price just kept dropping as the amount of shares, the volume increased significantly, and the price just hit the floor. I knew something was not right. I'd already been researching it for my book, so at that point I knew what was happening, and so I said, oh, you know what, before they do anything with FINRA or anybody else, I might as well move my shares over to AST so at least I don't lose them. And when I went to make my second move, they gave me a bunch of, baloney about how it has to happen. I explained to them the previous situation, made them look at my account. The rep tried to advise me that first set failed. And I said, well, that's really funny, because I have an account with that exact share number that's been there since 2 days after I initiated the transfer with you guys. So if it failed, can you tell me why they're not in my current totals? And he thought that was very strange that they weren't in my totals if that transaction had failed, because I had asked for an ACATS.
Yeah.
So he looked into it, and he's like, oh, boy. And he's reading like a script to me, like somebody else is doing the talking in the background, because every time I'm talking to him, he's typing fast, and you can hear it. So he's literally telling the other person everything I'm saying. Well, so he starts telling me, well, we did the incorrect type of transfer for the, because we needed to protect ourselves. We didn't know how this was going to play out. And we needed to know how to take care of ourselves plus any other clients, depending on what happened. we wanted to make sure that we knew how to take care of us first, and then starts to say, don't read this part to the client. So I knew that he was talking to somebody else, and he had just told me something he wasn't supposed to say. And fortunately, I had it on video, and so I started questioning him about it. And all he could do was pretty much go, yeah, I said that. I guess we did that to protect ourselves. I mean, what would you expect us to do? And I was like, well, okay, thank you. And I mean, that's all I could do at that point was just hang up the phone, because I didn't want to jeopardize that recording by saying something that could be wrong or misleading or inaccurate. I wanted to make sure that everything that was on that was absolutely perfect. And to that point it was. So I didn't risk trying to get him to say more. I just was like, okay, that's great. Well, so what I did was I went on to these Twitter calls. I kept these phone calls, and I kept trying to deal with TD Ameritrade directly. Well, they wouldn't deal with me, so I went to the SEC, and I filed a whistleblower complaint about this whole situation. And I helped another TD Ameritrade holder file against TD Ameritrade. And this was a friend of mine, and all I did was just share my documents with this individual so they could show what exactly TD did. Well, whenever you file a complaint like that, the other side gets to see what they're being accused of.
Of course.
And what proof is available. Well, when they saw my name on there, I think it's highly suspect that 2 days later, they sent me a letter saying they were canceling my account. And so I think that they are absolutely furious with me and
retaliatory.
are trying to do everything they can do. And at this point, you can't retaliate against somebody that's claiming you violated the law. I mean, that's an even bigger violation. And that's something I'm dealing with the SEC. They actually called me back on it yesterday. It's the second phone call I've received from them. And so it's just kind of gone on and on. But at the end of the day, anybody that tried to do a transfer after November 9th, I believe was taken advantage of. And the reason I'm saying this, and this is my opinion, and until my lawsuit is finalized and the judge says, no, you're right, Mr. Hensley, until that happens, it can only be my opinion. But the law is very specific about what the fiduciary responsibilities are of dealer brokers to their clients. And it specifically uses the language that you cannot take your own profits into account when dealing with the client over the clients. Like, you can't consider, even if it's going to hurt you, you still have to do what's best for your client. And so, in my opinion, they've committed fraud against any single person that they told to do the wrong type of transfer, because I have them admitting that they did the incorrect transfers on purpose to protect themselves, to buy a 2 to 4 week delay, which would give them time to assess the situation and figure out how they were going to move forward. I mean, I understand it from TD's perspective. However, if you do that, it is legitimately the definition of fiduciary fraud, in my personal opinion. Once we have a court rule on it, then we'll have a court rulings opinion. And that opinion will not be my opinion. At that point, it'll be fact. And so we're going to try to get this to the courts in the morning. I have been working a lot on this. Unfortunately, we had some medical things happen within my immediate family in the last 24 hours that have kind of taken over here, and I have to take care of my family first. And I mean, the rest of MMTLP, I consider them my family too, but my immediate family has needed me, and so that's where my priorities went. And now I'm getting back to finishing the last little touches and making sure that all the grammar's correct before I file in the morning. And then, like I said, I'm going to give that to investorplace. I am not working with just a writer. I'm working with their main top editor for the entire site. And so I believe that we're going to see something very interesting coming out very soon from them. And if you are a TD Ameritrade holder that has any MMTLP, I am going to advise you right now that you absolutely, and this is not just my opinion, this is the opinions of many professionals I have talked to as well, that anything you have, whether it's in your documents in your document library, or whether it's in your emails from them, that you put that on paper. You print anything that they have talked to you about MMTLP, whether it's been a transfer attempt, any kind of communication. If you have that in writing, like you printed it from your computer, they cannot dispute that they sent it to you. And the other thing I just found out is on the emails, if you click the 3 dots on the right, if you have Gmail, when you open the email, it'll actually let you print the entire message, which has all, and you only have to do it on the things that are really important, I would say, but it prints the entire server log of where the message was held on their server before it's sent out. And I just did it to my DRS out ones that they sent me, saying they tried to do a DRS request after they knew it had to be an ACATS, and it was 31 pages for a single page email, just so you know. But I would highly suggest, if you have emails like that, that you do that, because it's going to prove exactly where it came from, and you may find that very valuable in the very near future.
And so just to confirm, this is in regards to your lawsuit that InvestorPlace is going to be reporting on as soon as it breaks, right?
That's correct. And you heard it on the Margin Mafia first, and you always will with me.
That's what's up, Alan. I know you're not feeling the best right now. Thank you very much for keeping us up to date, and I'm hoping that the TD Ameritrade base here takes into consideration what you said.
I do too, because having actual proof is going to mean the world if you end up in litigation. And protecting yourself should be number one. And I want to say one more thing. I don't care who you are and who you trade with the exception of our Series 7 licensed folks. If you are using a trading platform, you absolutely should Google the word FINRA and the words dealer brokers and clients, and look at the section that talks about how dealer brokers must deal with their prospective clients. It's also going to pull up the SEC information on that same search, and it's going to show you the 1934 Constitutional Act that will explain to you there as well what the obligations are of the client and what the obligations are of the dealer broker. And I think being informed on what you're legally supposed to do and what they're legally supposed to do is very important for you to assess your situation. We don't buy stocks randomly without doing DD. I think that this is equally as important, that you know how you're supposed to be treated by these folks and what the laws are around that.
Seconded. Thank you so much, Alan.
All right, my brother. I will see you guys later, and I will most likely be filing in the morning. I will give a short post of my actual filing once I get it done through the courts, and then I am probably headed to the airport to fly to Southern Idaho.
Again, I'm sorry about your family member. Thank you very much for the information, my friend, and I wish you the best as always. You know that.
I know, and it's for people that are thinking of us, it's not one, it's two.
Love you, buddy.
All right, man. Thank you.
Bye. You guys heard it here first on the Mafia. You guys have a good one. Please like and sub for the algos, by the way.